Welcome. Today we're going to have with us Amarpreet Chawla, an expert in drug pricing. He is the Associate Director for Health Economics and Market Access at Johnson & Johnson. Welcome, Amar. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Supriya. Nice to be here.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your position and your experience with drug pricing?
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, I'm working in a pharma company right now, Johnson & Johnson. Prior to that, I was in healthcare consulting. I did that for almost 4 years, working in market access and pricing and reimbursement aspects of drugs, devices, biotechs. Before consulting, I was in academia. I received my PhD in engineering, and then I was a research scientist for a little bit before I decided to join consulting. So that's my background.
What are some of the things that you think about on a larger scale when you think about pricing a drug?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think about pricing of a drug, we think about largely two things: the strategic aspect of it and the tactical aspect of it. And strategically, you have to think about pricing of a drug like you price any other product. So you have to think about the market access aspects of drugs. So what are the restrictions, the coverage restrictions specifically that will come because of the pricing of the drug? How can you reduce that? How can you accelerate that? So that's one. The second is, of course, the adoption, and that's true for any product. The adoption of the product is dependent very much on prices. And here you have to think about different stakeholders and how they're going to adopt the drug. And third, of course, being a pharma company, you have to think about the revenues of the drugs. So those are the three things: market access, adoption, and revenues. When you think about the tactics, you have to think about 4 or 5 different things. You have to think about the market, what are the trends in the market, what are the unmet needs, and how is the new drug going to impact or disrupt the market. So that's the market aspect. The second is, of course, you have to think about the customers. Who are the customers of your drug? And this is where it gets very different from the rest of the products. Now here, when you think about customers, there are really 3 customers. There are more than that, but primarily 3. Payers, patients, of course, and physicians. So you have to really think about how you're incentivizing those drugs and what will be the impact of the price on those customers. The third aspect is the competitors. Who are the current competitors, who are going to be the future competitors, and which drug are you going to get compared against, who will be a competitor. So that's very important to think about. That's the third aspect. The fourth aspect is, of course, you have to think about your own product. What are the sort of the negative and the positive differentiations that your product has as you bring it to the market against a reference drug, and that's where the reference drug, the comparator, becomes very, very important. Who do you compare your drug against? And there's some flexibility around that, and we can talk about that later in this course. And then finally, of course, you have to think about the revenues. The price has a direct impact on revenues, of course, and the forecast of that revenue during the life cycle of the drug. So those are the 2 big pieces, strategic and tactical.